the Hindenburg, the Titanic, the Great Depression, Chernobyl, the BP oil spill. What do these things have in common? They, of course, rank among the most shocking of man-made disasters. And today, our picks from Matchday 10 join these ranks. Let the failure astound you today on Coffee with a Kick. Hello and welcome back to Coffee with a Kick. I'm Xander and that is Keegan. I think I forgot introductions on our last episode, but whatever, we're here now. You know, I almost started off the episode today just with a nice Chopin funeral march, you know, the bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, 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 because that's how bad it was. It was very bad. Cumulatively, we barely scored over a point of units across yourself and myself. And that's not because one of us did poorly and one of us did badly. We both just did very poorly. 2-8 for myself, 3-7 for you. Only saved because of Fulham beating Brentford here at the end. But that is the last match we have to get to this weekend. Anything you want to say in general before we start at the top of the order?
Peculiar things happening. Yes. A lot of inconsistent teams showing up at different times against surprising opponents.
Yeah. It's very much one of the songs from Toy Story. The strange things are happening to me. Ain't no doubt about it. Just going on all sorts of
musical like a song that you're starting when you're coming of age into puberty. But
I don't really like that. But you know, we'll go ahead and kick it off with the first match of the weekend, which it started it off as a strange one. Newcastle beats Arsenal 1-0. The consensus that we've come to here is that if when we're making picks, we agree at this point going forward, I'm probably just going to change my pick because I don't want to put that evil on either of us. Okay. Because it went that poorly this weekend.
Yeah, this one, I mean, just an earlier goal from Arsenal and then from Newcastle and then just defense the whole way through.
Defense.
Several times, though, Newcastle could have extended the lead. And really, Arsenal, this looked like a team that never really got into the flow of the match ever. I mean, they had, one shot on target, maybe two? They just didn't.
Yeah, two major opportunities. I mean, first of all, that ball in by Anthony Gordon to give Isaac the header was beautiful. I mean, it was a great goal. It was a well-worked goal, very earned by Newcastle. But Arsenal, yeah, you've got it. They just did not have a lot of creativity going forward. In the two chances they had, the 25th minute, they almost got back even off of a really gross pinball sort of goal, but a body was in the way, so it didn't go in. And then 90 plus 3, the man who you'd expect to save them almost, Declan Rice, gets a free header at the back post and just guffs it. He just messes it up. Doesn't put it in. Could have got a point out of this when they didn't really deserve it, but Declan Rice, the man of the hour, decided not to answer the door.
Yeah, one of those where you're missing Martin Odegaard for sure. The midfield just was not creative at all. There wasn't any sort of dictation of where the ball ought to go. It was kind of just, hey, let's pass it to one side, pass to the other, hope they get out of position. But Newcastle, I mean, they're a team that is well coached, disciplined, and we saw it. That's why they won.
Yep. And then, you know, we keep the weird rolling here, going to the next set of matches there at 9 a.m., right? No, technically, 9 a.m. because we hadn't changed over yet. Bournemouth beats Manchester City 2-1. What do you have to say for yourself here? What do you have to say for your boys in blue?
It never started very well.
No.
I mean, we just, again, another early goal, but this time we just didn't have the vigor to come back.
Yeah.
Like the charge at the very end, Vardiol, I mean, an amazing header.
Fantastic header.
Man can score from any part of his body, from anywhere on the field. He's just that good. But you just got to think, what is going on with City? I don't know. Maybe this was meant to be. Maybe this will kickstart the rest of it. But losing to Bournemouth, having the unbeaten streak in the Premier League go down to Bournemouth, not the team I would want that to go down to. You know, wake-up calls are needed at some point when you've been on top for so long. Hopefully this is one of those.
Yeah, and it could have been worse. I mean, Bournemouth had a good chance at 3 just after the 60th. They have in the 67th minute, almost went by 3 to really put it away. But City they never looked like they had a counterpunch in them. The Gvardiol goal was very nice, very well placed by Gundogan, but that's about it. Holland had some chances, but they're all kind of up in the air. I mean, he's done more with less before, so you could put some of it on him, I guess, if you wanted to. But the team itself, it was not great. It's just the short way to put it. Then we move on to the relegation fight here with Ipswich Town and Leicester City. Ipswich Town has the lead. Looks like the better side for most of the match here. Leif Davis with a fantastic goal. Basically, sort of, this one was sort of weird. You normally think of a volley as like driven through, but he sort of did a side of the foot volley curving shot at the backside of the goal, and it slotted in very nicely. And they had many other chances, I felt like, Ipswich Town. Leicester had a good couple minutes at the beginning before Ipswich started kind of taking over, but it was a lot of this was very much like relegation tier teams because they had great lead up play, but they just kind of disintegrated inside the opposing team's box, and it just never connected except for Leif Davis's goal there in the 55th. And then after a red card in the 77th, Ipswich Town just kind of lets Leicester come at them because they're down a man. And finally, it's 90 plus 4. Jordan Ayew with a run for the ages almost. A little bit, questionable no call on a foul there on the Leicester side of the field, but they drive into the Ipswich Town and just a wondrous little connecting pass there, tearing apart Ipswich defense like they were a better team than they are. And Jordan Ayew slots it away from Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, really a tale of the red card changed the entire match.
Oh, yeah.
Leicester definitely had good opportunities, but really it wasn't until after the red card that they started really pouring it on. And Calvin Phillips being the center defensive mid, it really throws off the flow of your defense because that anchor that's supposed to be in front of you is now gone. So you got to make some substitutions. You're 13 minutes away from the game being over. It just really messes things up. But good on Leicester. I felt like, again, their experience was able to get them a point here, which was huge because these are the types of games that if you can walk away with a point at the other relegation side stadiums, you're most likely going to stay up. So big point for them.
Big point for Leicester. And then we move to a team that let points get away from them. Brighton goes into Anfield, goes up early, and lets Liverpool, in the span of 3 minutes, take over the match. Because up until that point, I thought that they had done pretty well.
Yeah, Brighton, for a minute there, it looked like both City, Liverpool, and Arsenal were all going to go down. Regardless, Arsenal has to feel really good about the fact that Liverpool looked vulnerable, City lose points. But Brighton, you got to win this one. You go up early, you're kind of actually controlling the match there for a while.
I thought the first half was basically all Brighton. They looked like the better side overall.
Looked like the better side, but it was just that span of really 2 minutes where just the mental lapse went away. You let Gakpo get a goal. Salah pounces because he smells blood like the shark he is. And Liverpool walk away with 3 points in what felt like a blink when most of the match, Brighton was the one controlling it.
Yeah, Gakpo's goal was particularly funny for me because because the guy who I love to hate so much, Darwin Nunez, helped by not helping. You know, he ducked his head out of the way of the ball, and it made its way into the back of the net. He had a couple other chances, Darwin Nunez, just to pick on him for a moment, where he could have scored earlier in the match, but he didn't because Darwin Nunez has not performed up to the expectations. But, you know, I'll leave him alone for now. Why do I hate him so much? I don't understand it. But we'll move on from there to a match that, I mean, as much as none of these went the way that we thought that they would, a 3-0 victory from Nottingham Forest over West Ham. I did not have this. I guess I have to take them seriously now. I think that's the bottom line. I think I have to take Nottingham Forest seriously.
Yeah, you can blame the red card all you want, but really the red card just allowed Nottingham to get 3. First half, Nottingham looked like the better team. Chris Wood scoring again. I mean, he's literally challenging Erling Haaland for the Premier League Golden Boot, which just 5 weeks ago didn't look like anyone was going to challenge Haaland. But 10 men for an entire half, you're bound to allow the other team to get goals, especially when you're West Ham. Boy, they did not look good or organized as a 10-man team, so hopefully they don't have to do that again. But Nottingham, I mean, the former Wolves manager, Nuno, he took them over when they were in relegation zone last year, and now he's got them in Champions League spots. That's pretty impressive.
Boy, I just updated the table. Nottingham Forest is in 3rd?
Yeah.
What in the world? Man, you know, we said they need to move. They need to move on the table. We didn't mean up. Okay, Nottingham Forest. We didn't.
I had them relegated. That's how much I believe in them.
19th you had them. This is gonna hurt us. Can we let's throw out we'll throw out a 0 and we'll throw out our worst resolver. You know, if we get anything directly right, we can toss out our worst result, and maybe that will help our averages. We'll see.
It's a breakfast ball, okay?
Yeah, it's a season-long mulligan. We're okay. We're all right. But yeah, Nottingham Forest. Fine, I'll take you seriously, Nottingham Forest. Of course, now I'm going to pick them, and they won't win again. So maybe I should do that. I'll reverse psychology them. It's short-term losses for long-term gains, right? That's what I'm going to go for. Start picking Nottingham Forest. Next up, a team that got a fantastic result for them. Not much to say about it because not much happened until the very end. But Southampton gets all 3 points against Everton. This, I believe, if I'm correct here, yes, my perfect pick of the match day. This really is what saved me. My one, other than Fulham, which I covered in the beginning, this was my only other pick that I got correct. The only other one. It was my perfect pick. Southampton wins 1-0 over Everton.
Yeah, this one, Everton's been rolling a little bit, and Southampton just down on their luck, but good on them for using the home field to actually get 3 points, which is going to be big. It's their first victory of the season. You hope that they can use this as momentum for my own personal prediction. I hope this is the only win they get.
I don't hope that.
But I think that, now it's only Ipswich and Wolves who haven't won anything. So Southampton, honestly, this one win could keep them up if they can just get a few draws, because Ipswich and Wolves look pretty bad so far.
It's not happening. Not happening this next week, because guess what? They have to go to the Molineux, and it's all going to be all the difference there. 5-0 Wolves, 7-0 Wolves. It's gonna happen. Speaking of my Wolves, we'll get to them right now, as a matter of fact. A 2-2 draw against Crystal Palace. There we are. Yeah, this one,
I felt like, after the Gomez goal, Wolves were in the driver's seat, but Guehi getting a goal there in the 77th felt pretty demoralizing for Wolves. I felt like that really just deflated the rest of the match, because 5 minutes, you go from 1-0 down to 2-1 up, but you can't hold the lead.
Yeah, what I want to see is, if we had only allowed run of play goals, where will we be on the table? Where will we be on the table? Crystal Palace should have scored in the 32nd minute off of a corner kick it was a well-worked corner kick that they had us totally beat and only somehow didn't score. Then 60th minute, they were on a set piece. Guess what? It's well-worked. They score. And then even when the set piece doesn't go well, as it did on the 77th minute goal, they still beat us on a set piece and score. So we fired I guess we haven't hired anybody back after we fired our set pieces manager. We should probably get on that. We should do ZipRecruiter or LinkedIn. We need to find someone who knows how to defend. Maybe we hire a defensive back coach from the NFL. We'll pull like a weird reverse Ted Lasso and just specialty guy, just set pieces. You can't use your hands obviously like you could as a defensive back, but I think you get the idea of what I'm going for here.
Yeah, they're going to figure something else out because it wouldn't shock me if they've given up the most set-piece goals in the Premier League.
I will take that as a piece of homework. I will come into predictions for this next match day, and I will let you know what our results would be if we didn't allow set-piece goals. We'll see. It's probably not going to be like any better. We're just terrible all over is probably what the answer is. But, until I look it up, it at least gives me an excuse, right? Until I know the actual answer, it gives me a little bit of hope.
So outside of 1983-84, it's been almost 100 years since the Wolves have failed to win any of their opening 10 games. 1926-27 season.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, so, you're pushing history here, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, it happened last year, so we'll see if it happens again this one. Then to a team who certainly would like to get past this weekend. Aston Villa goes into Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and gets walloped after going up early. How'd you like this one? A 4-1 victory for Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, I would say tale of two halves, but really Aston Villa never looked threatening.
Yeah.
Attacking for this entire match. They just got the Rodgers goal, which I felt like it wasn't lucky, but it was a decent attempt. And then second half, Tottenham, again, one of those teams that is just so unpredictable that next week they'll probably play Southampton and lose 2-0. But that second half, that looked like a Tottenham team from 2016-2017. It looked vintage. The wingers are flying. The striker is scoring and finishing. Yeah. Madison's getting a goal at the end. It just, you just got to think that Tottenham can keep up something like this in the momentum. But again, they've just been so unpredictable and so volatile. You don't know what they're going to do next. I will say they have been better at home. Maybe not 4-1 over Villa better, but at home they do seem to be a better team than away. So for future predictions, keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind. Dominic Solanke coming through on his off-season haul that he achieved with that sale. Well, he didn't achieve it, but you know what I mean. They paid a lot of money for him, and he came through in this one. Now, would you need him? Do you need him to get 2 in a 4-1 victory? Maybe not, but get him in the groove there. Richarlison and Kulusevski assisting. Yeah, it was. I had the right goal spread. I just had it for the wrong teams. That's what happened to me. Still wrong in the end. Then to Manchester United and Chelsea, another match where not a ton happened at all, and it what did happened very quickly in quick succession. Bruno Fernandes 70th minute penalty and a Moises Caicedo goal in the 74th minute. Aside from that, there were only, United had 4 shots on goal. Chelsea only 3. Ooh, gross.
Yeah, midweek you saw Man United play extremely well in the FA Cup. They won, I think, 5-2, maybe even 6-2. So you're like, oh, maybe they're outside of this Ten Hag. Let's be a dull team, play some defense, barely get any shots. Then they come back to the Premier League, and it really wasn't an exciting match. Fernandes with the penalty, pretty classic way for United to get a goal. Caicedo, though, I did see that one person said that goal was worth the 120-some million that they paid for him. I would not go that far, but it was a nice goal. So kudos to these teams, two heavyweights drawing. But I did feel like Chelsea should have gotten more out of it.
Yeah. I mean, I would have liked that as far as picks are concerned. I would have definitely enjoyed them getting 3 points.
I would have as well.
And then to the one that saved us all, and only barely, Fulham beats Brentford 2-1 with both of their goals coming well into stoppage time as everyone drew it up. Brentford, they struck when they had the opportunity, but Fulham did control the majority of this match. Like, I felt like Fulham was the better side. And the 24th minute goal by Janelt was just truly out of nowhere. I mean, it was 25, 26 yards out of the box. Just a thunderous strike. Very good by him. 90+2. Not sure if Harry Wilson intended for that to be on frame at all. I don't believe him as much as I believe Haaland when he does something similar like that. It looked like he was just trying to direct it in the general direction, and it ended up being essentially a perfect shot. But the what does that say?
I mean, it was Wilson comes on in the 82nd minute, and definitely a pure flick off the back heel. His second goal, though, was a nice header. I mean, just a glancing, comes in hot, sends it almost upper nine. Fulham, I mean, they were the dominating side. You knew a goal was coming, but it was a bit nervy there at the end, for sure.
And Anthony Robinson on the goal, the winning goal assist. Nice, just set him up perfectly there for the Wilson goal. And you know what? Hey, listen, we got out of it. In the end, all told, I did finish worse out of us and the favorites. I finished at negative 0.7 units. So, almost broke even. That was my, for the Premier League, that was my first time scoring, first time not getting positive. You were a full 2 units on the nose positive on 3 for 7 and minus a half a unit for the favorites. So basically no movement as far as the overall standings for the Premier League. And this is one to forget. This is a match day to forget for our picks. We'll just let this one stand there as leave it behind. Leave it behind. Moving on. Anything else you want to say before we get on out of here?
Match day 10, I don't want to say it's one to forget, but I'm excited for match day 11.
It's a learning experience. I mean, that's probably what it is.
There are probably 5, if not 6 matches that are actually going to be really exciting based on table position and just which teams are playing. A London derby, got Nottingham Newcastle, which beginning of the season I would have never have thought I'd be saying that would be a good game, but Nottingham Newcastle could be actually a decider of position near the end of the season.
That's so. I mean, saying Nottingham playing anything important is crazy, but Newcastle needs to get a move on themselves. Let's see if they can use that momentum from that Arsenal victory. We'll see. But a lot to look forward to coming this weekend. We'll be back with those picks on the other side of the Champions League action, so be sure to check out our preview episode if you want to watch this after the first half of the matches are already done. That's probably when this will end up coming out. So until we get over there towards the weekend itself, why don't you go ahead and say it in a low voice. Why don't you go ahead and grab your coffee, watch some soccer,